What is good, people? Welcome back to another episode of Drive Time Crypto with me, Crypto Chris. And coming up on today's episode, we are going to bring you back up to speed with the Helium Light Hotspot upgrade, whereabouts the network is. We're also going to look at the Discord Ask Me Anything event that they did, break it down into the key points so that I can get you up to speed with what's going on, and hopefully at the end of the video you'll have a better understanding and it will have answered some of your queries. But before I do that, guys, I just want to point out that I'm on the road to 400 subscribers, so please, if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would really help my channel grow and really help me out. With that being said, let's start the video. So the Light Hotspot software upgrade, as you're probably all aware, this is what the Helium network have been rolling out. It's been a major upgrade to the network. If you're not aware of it, it's not been going too great, and hence why they've having to do a lot of community updates. You probably are aware of it, and that's why you're at this video. So I'm not going to touch on that too much. But yeah, basically the reason why they've done this hotspot upgrade is because the current network is unscalable as it is currently built, hence the importance of this upgrade. That's why they're still plowing through with it and working it out. So yeah, the scale of economies, because they've got up to 800,000 hotspots, the current model that they've got just isn't scalable, so they had to change it. Nevertheless, because they've hit this bumpy road, then there's been a lot of questions being asked of the network, basically what's going on. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go into it, but basically this resulted in a upgrade Ask Me Anything on Discord. Now, it was quite a lengthy session, so I thought, you know what I'll do is I'll listen to it back, I'll break down the key points, and I will deliver it to you in a bite-size video. So hopefully this won't go on for too long and it will be easier to digest. So basically, when they did this Ask Me Anything, there was a bug found where a process that is required for the proof of challenge rewards would die. So your hotspot needs this process to happen and to help the rewards, and that was finding that it just deceased because of this upgrade. Now, 25% of the miners found that if they did a reboot of the hotspot, it'd bring this process back to life. And this is now answering the question of why we've seen some miners hotspots getting rewarded and others didn't, regardless of your geolocation. So that sort of starts to answer that question, that it's this process that's dying that they need to fix. And they also touched on the fact that if you've had your hotspot delivered during this upgrade period and you've got it on the blockchain but it's not doing anything at the moment, you've not seen any rewards, then by all means try and reboot it. You might be one of the lucky 25% that get their miners hotspots going again, but there is no guarantee of that. And there was also a question around, is it the validators, is it them that are at fault, that are not seeing this rewards for proof of coverage? And that question was put towards the team, and they categorically said the validators are doing the updates as required, so not as we once thought that they were taking the time. They are actually doing it, and it's not on them the reason why we've seen this downturn. It's on bugs in the software. So we can now start to rule out the validators, and we understand that they are doing the job. And if we go to the Explorer there now, as you can see, the validator versions. Granted, there is a version there. I'm not going to touch on that just yet, because you'll be like, well, there's only 200 there that have done the latest version. The bulk of them, the bulk of the validators are on this version 1.10.9, and then there's some stragglers down here, but we don't really need to worry about them now because the bulk of them have done the upgrade, and I'll touch on why there's 200 there later on in the video. But nevertheless, they are doing the upgrade, so it is a software bug that we're seeing. So in this Ask Me Anything, one of the key points was, what will we see when it's confirmed that there has been a transition to light hotspots? Well, basically what they want to do is the final state of the hotspots, they want them not to be syncing to the chain. So at the moment, they are still having to have the blockchain data on the hotspot, and they're still having to sync to the blockchain, which is part of the reason why it's unscalable. So they have been releasing updates. If I show you now, if you can see there where it says active, I'll bring it up into the screen there. That used to say synced, and that meant that you were synced on the blockchain. Your hotspot understood what block we were at, etc., and you held a hell of a lot of data on your hotspot. Now it says active, which means that you are connected and you are online and you are able to send packets of data and witness stuff, but you're no longer syncing. So, and one of the other things that they want to see is they want to route the data package through a new REST gateway. So I'll just quickly break down what that means. So at the moment, we as hotspots, they are uploading the data packets that they receive onto the blockchain. So the amount of information that they need to retain is a hell of a lot. So they're trying to do it through this new gateway, which then takes all the computation power to that gateway, not on you requiring of your hotspot. At the moment, the current setup is still as it was prior to the update, where packets just get sent to the chain. Because why they've done that is in case they needed to do a rollback. If they kept it like that, it enabled them to do the rollback of this update. Should they go, you know what, we can't sort these bugs out at the moment, let's go back. I can't see that happening. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they are starting to get a grip of it now, and the rollback won't be seen, and which I'm happy about. We don't want to see that rollback. It's going ahead. We are making great strides, and I don't think that they need to do this rollback. So basically, what a successful light hotspot transition would see would be the hotspots using a lot less data. So if you're off grid as well, that will help with that. The validators become the challengers. They'll be beacon challenging, and then the hotspots, all they will be doing is beacon broadcasting and witnessing and data transfer. So that basically goes back to what I was just saying, that the hotspots are going to completely decouple from the blockchain syncing, which validators will now do. Hotspots require less power and there'll be less stress on the SD card. So if you weren't aware, there's an SD card in your hotspot, and at the moment, the way that the network is set up, it is asking so much of that SD card, way beyond its parameters of what it should be doing, and resulting in the SD cards failing because they're being asked to do too much. They're being asked to hold too much information and read too much information all the time. So that's going to be eradicated, and then that means that the life of your SD card shouldn't diminish and it should go on for quite some time. So the current state of affairs with the network as it was when this Ask Me Anything happened, it might slightly change, but not a lot. The three things that are left to do is to stop the miners chain syncing, as we were just speaking about then, route the data packets through the gateway. The gateways to handle the proof of challenges, as the miners are still doing it right now. So that's what they've got to get through. And basically, they have estimated it's going to take about another 3 to 4 weeks to complete this upgrade to the network. They're about halfway through. They're hitting the bugs. They're sorting the bugs out, and they're hoping that within 3 to 4 weeks, everything is going to be completely sorted out. They're going to have squashed all the bugs, and we are going to see the light hotspot rollout complete, and all these items actually happening. So that's where we're at, and that is not a guarantee, by the way. It could go on longer. It could be quicker, but the guesstimate is about 3 to 4 weeks. So at the moment, what they said in the meeting as well is that the current validators have a lot of workload, and they're still having to do a lot of tasks at the moment. But as the hotspots get removed off the blockchain, there's less gossip blocks being produced. And that means basically that the validators at the moment, they're having to speak to all the hotspots, also having to speak to all the other validators, etc. And it's causing a lot of computational power that they need, which is putting them under stress, which hence why we might not have seen the challenges go up to 1,000 per block. They've had to reduce them back down because of all this extra talking among the blockchain and the hotspots. So once the hotspots have been taken off the blockchain, the validators will just talk among themselves, and that means that they go from having to talk to 800,000 hotspots to just talking to the 3,000 and odd validators, and taking off the stress of the validators. So what else is left is the current proof of coverage challenges still at 700 per block, but only 200 proof of challenges receipts are coming back to the validator. So the software still requires updating and the bugs to sort this out. This is why we're seeing diminished rewards at the moment, because yes, there is proof of challenges going out, proof of coverage challenges going out, but the receipts are still lower than required. And if we go to the dashboard where we can see what's going on the blockchain, as you can see there, the transaction rate is good, it's stable, it's looking healthy, it's looking how it was, and you can see the proof of challenge rate and the receipt count there. So basically, that's where we're lacking. This should be mimicking what the proof of coverage. Sorry, this should be mimicking. That should be way up. That should be back up towards 700. The receipt count. So obviously, because you want the challenges to go out and the receipts to come back in, and then we'll be getting somewhere where we need to be. So nevertheless, the proof of coverage rate is close to being back to what it was before the light hotspot upgrade. So it's we're there on some parts of it. We're just not there on others, and it's just trying to balance them back out is where they said that they were. So it's positive in one hand that we're back to where we were prior to the update, but we're still lacking in other areas is what they said. And if I go on the Explorer, they've actually updated the Explorer. So if you've not been on there, at the time they used to just show these top 5 boxes from hotspots down to countries, but now they've added extra boxes. So you can now see in the last 24 hours how many hotspots have been rewarded. So that's over 50% of the hotspots that have been rewarded in the last 24 hours. So hotspots are seeing activity. Over half the network is anyway. Hotspots that have been witnessed, again, over half the network has been witnessed, and hotspots that that's hotspots that have witnessed. So over half the network have witnessed something and been rewarded. And hotspots that have been beaconed, which is 148,000, which kind of ties in because um, you're never going to see the same amount of hotspots beaconed as hotspots that have witnessed is because of you see hotspots 14 hotspots witness the beacon. So and then you'll see at the bottom there the latest hotspot to come onto the blockchain. So that's just a nice little feature that they've added there as well. So if we carry on breaking down what's gone on this Ask Me Anything. So they started getting questions from the community. So I didn't do all the questions. I just picked out the relevant ones because some of them weren't relevant at all. But one of the questions was, and I think that's quite a lot of the people in the community might have been thinking about this, was a compensation for outage. So because our hotspots haven't been producing rewards, then one person wondered whether there was going to be any compensation, and the answer was this won't happen. They appreciate the frustration and they're grateful for the patience from the hotspot owners, but it is not going to happen. This is nuanced technology basically, and they want you to look at the longer picture that you'll see in 5-10 years down the line of what rewards you're going to get back over that span and the growth of the ecosystem, and a compensation for being out for a couple of weeks, it won't happen. So the another question regarding that was, well, what's happened to the additional HNT that was generated through this down period? So as the blocks carry on getting produced onto the blockchain, then HNT is being produced, and there was a question, well, where's it gone? So, and it was categorically answered that the distribution of the HNT is gone to the hotspots that have been active in this period. So my hotspot has seen sporadic activity. I know other hotspots have been very active, but there was also, when I've been digging in through this and looking into it, that people were saying that they were seeing a lot better reward rates, that the miner has actually produced better results through this. And this is because of this, that a lot of the hotspots were down, meaning that the HNT that was being generated, there was more of it to go around because there was less hotspots active. But nevertheless, that has all been distributed. It hasn't been stockpiled anywhere, or the foundation or Nova Labs haven't just pocketed it. Basically, it's still gone out over the hotspots. So one of the next questions, which I found quite interesting, was, will the witness count increase on the challenges? So at the moment, the main priority at the moment that they're looking for is they're looking for stability in the network. They're trying to get the proof of coverage and the witness receipts to come back before they'd even entertain looking at any additional witnesses. So if you're not aware, what I'm going on about now is every time that a beacon is challenged, when they put up their signal, hotspots around it will witness it, and there's only ever 14 witnesses that are required, and they validate the proof of coverage, and then that goes back to the validator. Now, the reason why they've got 14 witnesses and not more is because it keeps the block times being produced consistent. And if you had, say, 100 witnesses to every beacon challenge, yes, 100 people would get rewarded with HNT. It would dilute the pool a little bit more to what you get what you get rewarded for witnessing it. But the problem is with that, it's going to increase the computational power required from the validators, and if that happens, then the block times being produced will take longer, and it will just have a knock-on effect. And they also pointed out that 14 witnesses of a challenge for a proof of coverage is an ample amount to make it a valid challenge. You're not going to get anything from 14 witnesses to 100 witnesses. There's no greater validity to it. You're not going to go, oh well, 100 have witnessed that one, so that's a much more confirmed challenge. That's not how it works. 14 witnesses are enough to validate that proof of coverage, and there's no need to up the amount that's needed to witness. So moving on to the next question, the hotspots will they be able to show what sensors have used them to transfer data? So as you're transferring data packages onto the network, onto the blockchain, would you be able to go on like a dashboard and say, oh right, yeah, I've just helped this sensor or that sensor do that? And the question was, no, it is an encrypted data packet, and that is for security. And if it wasn't encrypted, then basically there could be a breach in security. There might be the possibility to change the data that's going onto the blockchain, invalidate it, and then the network's in serious trouble. So no, the data is always going to be encrypted. You are never going to be able to see what sensor you've just helped put data onto the blockchain for with your Light Hotspot. And then another question was, can dead miners be removed off the network? And that is a categorically no. Blockchain is immutable, therefore you cannot take it off the blockchain. Once it's on the blockchain, it's on the blockchain. But there is no need to be concerned that if there's a load of hotspots that are doing nothing around you, they're not affecting you and they aren't affecting the rewards being distributed. So even if you have got a lot of dead hotspots around you, don't worry about it. They'll always be on the blockchain, but they're not affecting your hotspot and its rewards and its proof of coverage. And I found this a really interesting question as it went down on the the session. Can hotspots not just connect to all validators to avoid connecting to a failed one? So if a validator's software, if they're struggling to get the witness receipts back, this is what the problem is at the moment, why we're not seeing the witness count go up. Could we not just connect all the hotspots to all the validators and therefore the witness go back up in essence? And the answer to that was no, we can't do that because again it increases the computation for the validators, it puts them under more stress, then you won't be able to do as many proof of coverage challenges and it'll just have a knock-on effect that way. And also you're just skirting over the issue, you're not actually solving the issue for the validators, you're just putting more stress on the validators that can perform these witness receives. So it's not an answer, it's not a fix. Yes, it could essentially work, but it'll have its own problems with doing that, and it's not something that they'd be looking into. And then the last question, which I found was really good. Well, the last question I'm going to cover, sorry. Somebody asked, is there a favoured region for challenges over another for the validators? So he said that he was in the UK and he believed that the UK wasn't getting as many challenges as other parts in the of the globe, and this was again categorically denied. There is no favoured region. The validators aren't instructed to challenge a certain geographical region. It is purely down to chance where they challenge at that time. And it's written in the code to just challenge everywhere, basically. So, yeah, it's if you're not seeing as much activity, or you might not think that there is not much activity going in and around your area, then yeah, it's purely chance, and it's not a conscious decision not to challenge that area. So anyway, that's basically the Ask Me Anything. That's broken down into the key points that I thought was interesting. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to go back and listen to the whole session and see if there's other points that you might have found interesting that I've missed. Let me know in the comments what you think about the questions and the answers and how that's affected you. Have you seen stuff coming to life recently? Just let me know in the comments what you think about some of the topics that were raised. What I'll do is I'll just give a quick update on the Discord of where they are with it. So the yesterday they put an announcement out that the team has been testing and fixing to address the missing receipt issue overnight on mainnet, testnet, hotspots, and on testnets. Results indicate a minor improvement, but we'll still think it'll make a difference to the proof of coverage, receipts, and reward. And over the air is being prepared and will be made available for makers in a few hours. So if you're not sure what an OTA is, basically that means that it's a software update that gets put out over the air, goes straight to your hotspot, and it will update the software automatically. And secondly, the core team is working on fixing delays, dying processes, as I talked about at the beginning of the video. This is likely also the reason average receipts over a long period of time seems to be trending down slowly. So they went on to release another update, and basically they said that they've released the update for the hotspot makers, and that the manufacturers will put it out. So if I just have a quick show here, that SenseCap have there's been a new announcement since, but nevertheless, SenseCap have released the update. So anybody with a SenseCap, it's gone out to you. Anybody with a rack, they have announced it there at the bottom that they have sent out the update as well. So anybody with a rack miner, you are good to go as well. And Bobcat, they have also updated an announcement saying that that update has gone out. So again, you don't have to do anything with your hotspots. That will automatically do, and the manufacturers seem to have done it. So they've highlighted other issues to the proof of coverage challenge that they're working on. Basically, there, I don't need to go into that. They found a bug introduced in HIP17. Basically, they're working on that at the moment, and the core team improves the receipt delivery on chain. Validators will have more receipts to validate. As a result, block times will increase. To help mitigate this, the team is also working on a receipt transaction improvement. This is mostly for your information for the community and has no bearing on your hotspot. They did an announcement to show the extra additional stuff that's available on the Explorer that I touched about before, and basically they've now put that the validator release has not gone out, and it will be tested overnight so they can be confident that it makes an improvement, even if a minor. They'll let us know tomorrow. So that again, if I go back to the validators, this, I presume this is what that little update is there, why I said not to worry about it. They've probably got validators that are on mainnet, that they've pushed this update out to see how it acts with them, as well as the ones that are on testnet, so they can get a little bit of an insight in how it's going to react with the validators that are on mainnet before they push it out to all the other ones. So that's why I said let's just focus on that part and not the green part at the top. And basically they've done the updates, they've pushed it out, and they're gonna get back to us. You don't need anything to do with your hotspot. So yeah, guys, that's basically where we're at with the update and where the hotspots are. I'm actually seeing a little bit of improvement on my hotspot. You can see there that I've in the last 24 hours I've seen a lot more rewards coming through, a lot more action. Granted, it's not massive, but it's better than seeing 24 hours of nothing. Let me know how your hotspots are doing. Are you now starting to see activity? I've genuinely believe that the team, they're working so hard. Helium, they've held their hands up. They've said, yeah, it's on us, guys, but we are going to sort it. We are going to get there. They're not hiding in the shadows. They're not updating us. They're all over it. They're active in the community. They're active on the Discord. They're active on the announcements. They're active on the updates. They are really trying, and I genuinely believe that they're going to get this sorted out, and the Helium network is going to carry on growing. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, though, in the comments. And please, guys, if you think that this video will be helpful to somebody within the community that might not see it, please, if you could share it to them, that would be really appreciated. And if you want me to cover anything else in my videos, let me know as well in the comments. Hope you've enjoyed this. Sorry it's been a bit of a long one, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.